Hey, what's happening, everybody?
Everybody's good, cuz.
What's happening, Fulton?
What's happening, Dr. Scott? Good
Fulton
to be here today.
Good to see you, my man. You are the detail man. It's good to see you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We got a special guest today, Jack Rock. Jack Rock, what's happening, my man?
Hey, I've always been scared in my lifetime I was going to get discovered. Look like it's going to happen.
Today's the day. Well, hey,
It is.
we
Just saying.
Yes.
we got an election coming up.
Yes.
How many days we counting down?
13?
12.
12 days down. I'm
Wow.
glad everybody's listening out there, to all of our fans, all of the viewers on YouTube. If you need to check this out on YouTube, sometimes our shows go over. If you're listening to this on the radio, WRNN, you're going to want to go to the YouTube page and look up Dwyer Scott Podcast. Some of our shows go over, and some of the good stuff happens after an hour.
Follow us on YouTube.
That's right. So
Late night.
make sure you go there, check us out. But anyway, hey, you know what? There's some exciting news that came out for me this week.
Okay. There's a lot going on. I can't wait.
There's a lot going on. One thing personally that I particularly like, I've been at this game, at this healthcare game, so really since I was 16 years old. When I had migraine headaches, the doctors couldn't fix me. They wanted to do exploratory surgery on my digestive tract. They gave me the medications, and none of that worked. At 16 years old, I said I'm out, and I decided to get healthy on my own, doing things natural way. That's what got me into this profession. And now we're doing regenerative medicine. But we've had a crisis that's been going on, where over 2,000 people a month for the past 20 years on average have been dying from opioids.
Yes.
And I don't know if you saw it in the news, but I think I saw it in the Washington AP. The drug makers, Purdue Pharma,
Okay.
who produced the painkiller Oxycontin, that's been the causal agent of this huge opioid epidemic. Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of deaths now over 20 years. They're pleading guilty to federal criminal charges as a part of a settlement. Now, is that going to make a big change? You know what? These big players, they've been rolling for 100 years at this game, and they've got it set up in a way to where they can defer and deflect.
Yes.
They'll claim bankruptcy. Yeah, it's supposed to be about an $8 million settlement. They'll probably get off paying nearly anything because of bankruptcy.
$8 billion.
$8 billion.
$8 billion would it be?
It takes 1,000 million to make a billion.
$8 billion. $8 billion.
$8 billion.
And
you know something you're hitting on there. We're just talking about the deaths, the people who have passed away from this harmful, very harmful drug. We haven't even addressed the people who are still functioning in our country with these illnesses because of these drugs.
That's right. And not to mention the families that are being affected.
Absolutely.
By it. It's unbelievable.
It impacts practically everybody at every level of society and life. It doesn't matter who you are or how much money you have or where you came from. It's unavoidable.
That's right. And here's the thing. And this whole lawsuit and this whole guilty plea, it doesn't really release the Sackler family from any investigation and charges. But the problem is, this story breaking this week reminded me how deep and far back the corruption starts. And even with this obstacle in their way, they're not surprised. It's a global agenda to control humanity in certain ways, and that's just the nature of modern medicine that started over 100 years ago. That's also the nature of politics. That's the nature of it all. That's what we're dealing with right now with this political regime that's going on right now on both sides. And now we get to pick a side.
Amen to that. You know, both are very similar in the nature of the beast, the underlying mechanism that is ugly, we don't like, we don't want to deal with. It rears its head in almost everything in life, and it's unfortunate it's that way, but we have to gear ourselves, we have to teach ourselves and our family, our children, everybody around us to be prepared for this, because it's not going away. It's gotten so bad.
It's not going away. It's not so bad. It's too big.
It's too big.
They've planned this thing out for over 100 years, and it's all laid out. And they got it so convoluted with the jargon. I mean, just look at the medical jargon that nobody really understands what's going on. You have no idea how many people that come in my office with MRIs and X-rays. And I said, did they explain this to you? Well, they said something. They gave me a report to read. They can't interpret this report. There's a jargon there. They have no idea what's going on. And the next thing they're doing is they're prescribed opioid pain medications, cortisone injections, and surgery in a matter of months. And it destroys their life. They have no idea. And it's not even the medical doctor's fault. It's just the system that they're in.
It's the system, yes.
And it's a corrupt system that you really wouldn't know unless you dive into the deep parts of it. Unfortunately, most of us don't realize how bad it is until it gets to the point to where it's hurt us, and we have to find an escape.
Yes.
We have to find an escape.
Or and you're absolutely right, and that's such a large percentage of people out there. But you and I know that we see people every day, including ourselves, who take their health care in their own hands.
It's the only way to do it.
It's the only way to do it. That's what you and I have been talking the whole time.
So anyway, we're getting back at it. There's a lot going on with the election. You got local elections going on. You got national elections going on. You got Joe. What's the deal with Joe Biden's laptop? Hunter Biden. What's going on with Hunter Biden's laptop?
Hey, real quick, none of the mainstream media wants to talk about that.
What's going on with the laptop? They're finding things where people are corrupted, things going on behind the scenes. It's been going on forever.
I think they've had this one. I think that the FBI, I think that the Trump administration have been well aware of what Hunter Biden has done for a long time. I think this laptop, the exposure to it, the awareness is out there. It's been there, and they've been waiting for the perfect time to expose this tool.
Well, they've had that thing for a year.
Yep.
They've had that laptop for a year.
4 years ago, lock her up before the election. This time it's lock him up before the election.
Now, here's the question. I see it happening over and over and over, but it's like nothing ever really happens. What's going to happen?
You know what? If for some unfortunate reason that is beyond our belief, Joe Biden became the president, it would go away. It would disappear. Because they would control the FBI, they would have the attorney general in place. They would be so in control, and that's what they're hoping on. That's why they're trying to push it down the road. Trump's done the right thing by bringing this to the forefront at this time.
Yep.
I got news for both of you guys.
Okay.
And I am so proud of both of you for being so involved in this thing and cared. Really, if you knew, I've been in politics since I was a kid. People don't care. This time I'm seeing people care. They're standing in lines to vote. Now, let me tell you something that neither one of you know. Whether Biden wins or loses, it's going away. Same way with Hillary. Hillary should be locked up for the rest of her life. It's going away. It's just the way our political system works. No, it's not perfect. But if you want a perfect system, if you don't think that we got close to a perfect system in this nation politically, move down to Colombia, South America for about a year. Come back and let me know if Hillary and Biden needs to be locked up.
You know why they don't lock up Hillary Clinton?
Why?
Because Bill would be very happy, and nobody wants to make Bill happy.
Don't make Bill happy, huh? That's funny.
Bill will be too happy if she gets locked up.
Well, there are times in history, there are times now that some people are getting locked up and put away. I mean, one of the worst things that you can do is, some of these sexual offenders that are going to jail now. What's the Hollywood guy's name? You got Cosby and you got
Weinstein.
Yeah. What's his name?
Harvey.
Harvey
Weinstein.
You can go on and on with the names.
Now, here's the thing. You know why those guys get locked up? Because that's obvious. That's obvious. You can't hide that. When that's there. But with this whole political structure and even the medical structure in the system, it's so convoluted.
Above the law.
Above the law. There's so many. there's so many laws that you can bend here and there.
It's also, on the surface, it's a victimless crime, but it's really not a victimless crime.
It's a crime against humanity.
It is.
It's a crime against humanity, and it's been going on forever.
Each and every one of us.
I agree with you, Jack. America's the best place to be.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, though,
people are dying to get here, cuz.
Unfortunately, though, the whole system is rigged in a way to take advantage of everybody, and that's why you really just got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself.
That's what everybody loves about President Trump. He can relate to the working man.
That's right.
He supports the working man, and he believes in the working man making it.
God sent. He's God sent. He belongs on the Alien show on TV. This cat is not human.
Hey,
I'm a Democrat holding a Democrat office. This cat is not human. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, you got to give this cat credit. And let me tell you something. You know what? Can you use a 4-letter word on your show?
Yeah.
Well,
this cat will slap the pure manure out of you if he gets a shot.
that's better.
So,
check this out.
Talk to me.
Jack, you're calling him superhuman / alien. Here's what I love. He went on and on and on. Finally, President Trump tests positive for COVID-19.
Yes.
COVID-19. And within 2 days, he kicks it. And that just shows you what a strong, healthy body will do. Now, I'm not saying he's healthy, because he's obviously healthy. But he's definitely got some lifestyle. He brags about eating
Mickey
McDonald's.
Can I throw something in there just to give you a thought? I've been in politics my whole life. The first thing I told the guys at the restaurant,
what?
When they brought it up, he's got it fake. He faked
part
it.
of the
We
story.
fell for it. Sympathy, Dwyer, Dr. Scott. You a doctor. You went to medical school. You did psychiatry.
So Trump's done.
And
He's done fooled us all, huh?
You didn't see it.
Hey,
Come on, man.
Here's what I love about it. What's going to happen is, as we go along, they're going to create these. They're going to create these vaccines, and highly recommend everybody take it. And they're going to ask the president, "Are you taking the vaccine?" He's going to say, "No, I already killed that off."
Yeah, I don't need to take it
good.
now. I'm good. I have
Let
the
me
antibody.
share something with you guys. You ready to hear a good story?
Yeah.
I've never taken a vacation in my whole life. Nothing but work. Why? Because my kids and my family needed the money. They still need me working. But with the coronavirus thing, things happened, and I took the summer off by no wish of my own. But I had the summer off. What did I do? Let my hair grow out, my beard. You know what I did? I hit the street. Now, with the street people. All right, all up and down the East Coast, getting to medication. These guys on the street, you wouldn't believe how good of people they are, but they're limited. I haven't met one yet that don't go mentally to a certain point and it cuts off. Just to share with you guys, talking about the opioids and stuff like this, when they overdose, I try to trace the bodies down. Tattoo at Ocean Drive. He OD'd. He overdosed week before last. What happened to his body? I'm tracing it down. You know what happened to his body? No ID. Nobody knows who he is. His name. All of them use fake name. Tattoo. All right. They put him in the incinerator. He's poof. That's what happens to these people. The government. They ain't putting him in no box and going through no expense. They got a deal cut out with the man down there with the propane burner. All right.
Disintegrate.
Opioid.
Yes, that I can see that being based off of a financial figure and why that would be done. But in getting kind of back on with what we were just talking about Trump, I'm gonna follow up on something you said there that I realized a long time ago about him when he was getting ready to meet with the North Korean dictator. And one of those reporters asked Trump, said, "Are you prepared for this?" And he looked at him and he said, "Are you kidding me? He said, I've prepared all my life for a moment like this. Absolutely, I'm ready.
I find it fascinating.
It's his cue. He is in attack mode. He is be the ball.
Human.
Remember when we were growing up, we used to chase the ball. We got to a point we could catch it. We could turn around and throw it. But we were taught playing high school football to be the ball. You want to be the impact. You want to be the lead force that makes contact first. And he is the largest example I've ever seen.
Fill you two guys in, and whomever is concerned that's watching or listening. What you two guys are doing right now is preparing you for Trump-itis. Trump-itis. Because Trump has done what you two guys are doing right now his whole life. When you do your whole life what you two guys and Rush Limbaugh are doing, your brain is in a constant 24-hour-a-day process, and the gray matter in your brain, instead of just laying there doing nothing, you've studied this stuff, Dr. Scott. The more you use your brain, the more gray matter you build up, the more brain cells you build up. And how does these guys on these shows get up in front of a crowd? They've been doing it their whole life, and their brain is processed to just a comedian. He comes up, Fred Sanford. He did his own skits. He didn't have to practice. Why? It's just click.
Because he's sharp. That's the problem with the majority of Americans right now. They're not sharp. And the majority of Americans are medicated. When you take all these medications, you're dehydrating the body, you're dehydrating the brain, and ultimately, you're really you're no longer independent. You're being controlled. Victims of the system. And unfortunately, they don't even know because they're taught to trust their doctors. And unfortunately, the doctors now are being controlled by these corporate systems, and the corporate systems are the ones higher up on that scale, connected deep into the politics with the lobbyist money, etc., and everybody's suffering for it. And here's the good part about President Trump. Just like you said, Jack, he comes from the normal world. Now, he's not even close to normal, but he's lived that business life.
He's climbed the ladder.
He's climbed the ladder. He's put ladders out to be climbed. He understands the deal. He understands. And here's the thing. To a certain degree, he might be a bullshit artist, but he's for real. And the cool part is that he can recognize it when he sees it.
Amen to that.
He can recognize it when he sees it, and he's finally trying to put an end to this ridiculous deals they have with China. I mean, we're talking about. I heard that the Bidens gave the Chinese some kind of secret code or something that allowed the Chinese to recognize 30 of the U.S. spies in there. They got assassinated. They got executed.
Oh, wow.
Because of something that was, I think this was something found on Biden's laptop recently.
Let me throw something in there, Dr. Scott and Fulton. What you guys don't realize, and the general public don't realize, on the Democrat side and the Republican side, political side, is since Donald Trump came down the, what's it called? When Escalator. Everybody, listen to me carefully, both of you, and the general public, and everybody concerned.
Let's go. We're listening.
Everybody that has had anything to do with Trump, one side or the other, is getting rich off of Donald Trump. They're saying this, and they're arguing on these big news medias and all this. Everybody's getting rich. If he loses, everybody loses. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
There's no story. There's no story.
There is a story.
There's no story if Donald Trump loses. Everything dies out.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody is shut down, cuz.
But last week, if you heard the show from last week, Jack, we discussed it. I made a prediction. I guarantee Trump's not going to lose this election. And here's why I told last week. I'm going to tell it again. The market has not priced it into play. with Biden's tax cuts, I'm sorry, not his tax cuts, his tax hikes, what he's going to do to 401k plans, what he's going to do to people making over $400,000 a year, he's going to ruin that life, that livelihood for those people to aspire. So the market is not pricing Trump's not getting reelected back in. If it was, that market would fall. It would, the Dow would probably fall below 20,000, if not more, guaranteed. So I don't see it happening. There's no way.
Let me give you a good example of what I'm talking about. Us 3 guys here, 5 guys involved here. We're getting rich sitting here discussing Donald Trump and medicine. Dr. Scott has tied Donald Trump into his medication.
Well, Donald Trump is the first politician to come out against the pharmaceutical industry and their price hikes, their price gouging. He's the first one that's publicly come out about it and said we're going to do something about it. And I really love this most recent federal criminal charge that's coming against the Sacklers and Purdue Pharma. I love it, and it's just a little jab.
Just the beginning,
it's just a little jab. It's definitely not even close to a knockout blow. But Trump is strong enough and he's bold enough to speak out against these huge pharmaceutical industries. And not that the pharmaceutical industries have bad things. Thank God for them. But they're taking good things and using it for bad, and it's destroying people's lives. And I love the aspect that Trump is calling these pharmaceutical companies out where they belong to be called out. He's enforcing
making them play
punishments.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, he's forcing punishments. And at the same time, he's all for, not only for, but probably using regenerative medicine, the things that we use every day to keep his body strong and healthy. And he's all about that. What's the right to try?
Right to try.
Right to try. He's all about it.
That's what he did.
That's what
he did.
He did.
With the Regenon antibodies, okay?
Question for both of you and the general public or whomever's concerned. What's the chances, we're talking future, what's the chances, Fulton, of, Dr. Scott, of the Trump dynasty after Trump pulls this next 4 years? He's got a good-looking family, cuz who wouldn't vote for Trump Jr.? Who wouldn't vote for that little boy that looks just like him that they don't ever show?
I never paid much attention to his family except for his wife.
So beautiful.
What we've learned over time is that in politics and everything else, we look to leave the children out of it. Okay, we know that his youngest son has been exposed to the coronavirus, but did very well. The whole family has done well. All the people exposed on the Trump administration have done well. If they didn't, that's all you would hear on the mainstream media is somebody's sick or somebody's dying, and you're not. So do I think Trump faked it? You know what? If he did, it was brilliant, and he pulled it off on me and everybody else who's listening. But I don't think all those people faked it. I think that the coronavirus is real, but I think it has been used as a weapon or tool because of the timing and placement and what the
You mean a weapon and a tool either against humanity and a political
and Trump.
And
it's
a political
about power.
That smart or that powerful, Fulton.
Yes, they are, Jack. Jack,
really?
these things have been planned out for 100 years.
Look, Ben Carson 3 months ago went on TV and on the internet and said this was all planned.
Agreed.
He knew it.
I agree.
Yep. And they've been throwing these punches. They've been practicing this. You can go all the way back to the Kavanaugh hearings when he was trying to get on the Supreme Court. Going on the Supreme Court going forward is going to be such a hard and ridiculous process. They have made a clown show. They have turned it into the circus, and it is the highest ranking court in the nation.
What do you mean they turned to? I don't keep up with it like you guys. What do you mean the clown show Supreme Court? What's going on?
You know what's today, right?
Well, put it
okay,
words,
I know what Fulton's going here. You've got a guy named Justice Roberts who was put in there as a conservative, and now not once, not twice, but 3 different times he has sided with liberals on cases.
He has. So
catch me up. What y'all talking about?
Well,
the Supreme Court.
Yeah, there's
Hey, Doc, where you at, Doc? Doc.
Where you
There's
at,
a
Doc?
lot.
Come on,
so-
man.
Hey, let me tell you.
Yes.
I'm asking the same question that not everybody, but a lot of people are asking
All
right
right.
now because everybody's busy. Man, I got kids to feed.
You
I
got
got
an
a team
office
to
to
take
run.
care of. I
You
got an
got
office
really
to run.
don't know what we're
We
even
don't
talking
know.
about.
I don't know. I hear
Really?
the surface of it. I'm not a fan of watching TV. I don't have time to watch TV. So seriously, I understand what you're talking about with the Supreme Court. There's a place that needs to be filled or not filled. Fill it before or after. I don't really understand the details of it and what's going to happen.
Think
for
about it this way. Think about it this way. You've got 9 Supreme Court justices. You know why there's 9? Because if you've got 4 and 4 that all can't decide, there's one vote that breaks it.
You have to have an odd number.
And now the Democrats are talking about packing that court to where you don't have that odd number and it keeps everything in limbo.
Well, or running it up to 15 or
Yes.
17. So what they're looking to do, if a Democratic president is elected, they're looking to change the laws in Congress.
Is that the 25th Amendment thing? Or is that something completely different?
You're good.
I
Yeah,
don't
you stumped me
No,
on
I think
which
the 25th
amendment.
Amendment is trying to take the president out because he's not fit to be president.
That's right. He's not mentally
let
fit
me fill
to
you
do it.
in on something, guys. Let's say that you are ignorant about what's going on. That's where the Democrats has got the upper hand, is because there's so many people out there in the United States that cannot afford cable vision, direct TV and all. So they got regular TV stations, millions and it's surprising how many poor people, I know I live in a poor county, don't have direct TV.
Well, here's the thing, Jack. There's a lot of poor people out there, but
that's why they listen to
excuse
radio.
me, Rick Roberts. Excuse me.
Radio.
There's a lot of poor people out there, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, Jack. You've been on the streets with the street people before. Everybody's got cell phones, and it's all out there. And so whether it's the mainstream media with the NBC, CBS, ABC, or even the internet and social media, where everybody's really getting off, and there's nobody watching TV anymore.
Facebook and-
Ain't nobody watching TV. They control all the media. They control it all.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether you're ignorant or not. All the information is getting downloaded unless you go outside of the common media, whether it's Facebook, internet, social media, major networks on television. Unless you go way outside of that looking for something, they control it all.
But I'm going to agree. I'm absolutely, you are 100% correct. And how they use that is through emotions. Okay, it's through empathy.
Fear. It's through fear is what they're using.
Fear and emotions.
That's
they
where
get
the whole
people riled
COVID-19
up
came
to
from.
support what they believe. So, but back to your point on the Supreme Court and ACB, Amy Coney Barrett. That it just moved through the Senate this morning. And, Lindsey Graham says that by Monday or Tuesday, the vote will take place and she will be on the Supreme Court as of next week.
God sent.
Now tell me, what does that mean? Tell me what that means to all of us.
So back to the election with Bush.
The big thing is with her being Trump's third nomination in his 4 years, just his first 4 years to the Supreme Court. He's added 3 conservative viewpoints that are in the 50 age range. So they could literally be there for 30, 35 years, as we see with many of your court. So you're going to have a 6-3 majority. You're going to have 6 conservatives, and that's including Roberts in there with that as well. But so that could still be a 5-4. So the Supreme Court is going to lean very heavy toward conservatism, and the possibility that what the Democrats are using is that they're going to try to overturn Roe versus Wade.
Good.
Hey, guys, thanks for listening. And to hear the rest of this show or see the rest of this show, check out Dwyer Scott on YouTube to see this show and other shows. Now, if you'd like to be a patient at Advanced Medical Solutions, call 843-742-7922. Leave a message. Let them know you want to schedule an appointment. They'll make stem cell regenerative medicine effortless for you. Once again, if you'd like to be a patient, call 843-742-7922.
Going on. His appointment, now she's the deciding vote if it boils down to the Supreme Court again of who wins
So
the president.
anything that goes to the Supreme Court, this is just pretty much just adding to a majority of a conservative vote.
Absolutely. Significant.
Gotcha.
Okay. Large percentage. So it's going to be very difficult for a lot of your liberal agenda thought processes to get through the Supreme Court with a positive opinion or outcome.
And here's the thing: I like the idea of of being liberal and open-minded and progressive. But that doesn't mean I have to go with what you think. I'm in regenerative medicine. You can't get much more progressive and innovative as that.
Absolutely not.
But when you take these initiatives, these liberal initiatives, these extreme liberal and far left initiatives, using them to really just, I call it controlling the population.
Yes.
Controlling the way people think, what they don't think, telling them what they can do and can't do. We still got big cities shut down over something that even the World Health Organization said, we shouldn't have shut it down. They've cut everybody's money. They got everybody afraid of getting sick. Everybody's in a state of fear. And I'll tell you, after this election, no matter who wins the election, I think it's going to get worse and dangerous.
I do too. But where's that being done, and who's doing that?
Of course. They're the blue states.
The blue states.
They're the blue
Democratic, heavy, big cities, and they're using their power against the people. And you know what? The people are revolting. The people speak, whether we hear that on the radio or TV, but they do it in their actions. That's what we are watching. We discussed that last week, how people are leaving New York, New Jersey, California, and headed to Texas,
That's right.
South Carolina,
That's right.
and Florida.
I got one thing I want to throw in there to you guys,
All right,
that are so concerned about this thing, and I am so proud of you. And I hope the rest of the nation is this concerned. Donald Trump, when he put up and ran for president of the United States in 2016, he didn't just turn the United States upside down and put it in a whirlwind. He put Japan, Saudi Arabia, China, Russia. He has upset
the apple cart.
the whole world. You say, Donald Trump has really messed up the United... He turned the whole world upside down. And I go right back to what I was saying, what I've told you
That's
before.
a valid point.
God sent. What else could have did this?
I don't think anybody else could have done it. And we're actually talking about something. Jack, you said they're not smart enough for that. They are. This is a plan. Biden, okay.
Satan
Biden
is smart is what you're saying.
Biden,
He works hard, too.
Satan is smart.
Yeah, this is really coming from a deep, long-term, almost invisible enemy.
Deep
A
throat.
demonic place that's been being
And
planned
Donald
for
Trump
100
knew
years.
it. He was part of it.
When we're talking about the Sacklers and this opioid epidemic and this issue, this dates back 100 years ago with Arthur Sackler. Arthur Sackler was a medical doctor, but even more so, he was a propagandist, a marketer, trying to control the minds of other people to get them on drugs. And these are the same companies and the same people that created cocaine, morphine, heroin, all these illegal drugs. Now that's how it all started. And they continue to evolve it until now it's in the medicine cabinet of every American right now and destroying lives. And this little jab to the nose to the Sacklers and Purdue Pharma, it's nothing for them. They knew it was coming. They've been in these lawsuits. They've been doing this for 100 years, son. They're ready for it, and they're stacked up with lawyers and money. We're talking about something that dates back decades, even a century, of controlling and manipulating people using, we're talking big money, son, way outside of what people like me and you could even think about. We're talking about big money, big corporate, convoluted.
Enough, doctor.
Convoluted corporate entities that you can't even dig deep enough, and they're all sporadic and spread out so much that you can't really touch them.
When is enough?
And when you take a man like Trump to come in and do something so bold that he, let's just face it, it's bold, it was dangerous, and he loves it. That's what I love about it. The man's, most of the presidents after 4 years, they age and they show how they're aging on their face with these photos before and after. The man's gotten younger.
He's thriving.
The man's hair hadn't looked better, whether it's his hair or not. He's looking good, son.
Yes. What's that, Jack?
I'm going through a mess with the politics in my home county. We won't mention the county. But here's the question I ask all these politicians when I stand up before them. When is enough?
Well, it's not about money beyond that point. They got more money than they know what to do with.
Here you go.
It's about power and control, and it's that evil demonic aspect that they can't get past.
I've got a great way of looking at it. This is a very unique analogy, but a very powerful one. If we went to a buffet, and it was all you could eat. And everybody there filled their bellies as full as they could. No matter how many people there and how much food there was, there would usually be a couple of scraps left on the table. But if we took food off that table and we put money, guess what? Only one person's going to eat, because that first person who went to that table, they're going to take all that money. So money is not like food. Money is, they can't get enough. It's one of those things that the more you get that you shouldn't have, the more you want. It's an addiction.
Well, here's the thing.
Addiction.
Let's just face it. We all know you can get stuff done with money.
Money is power.
Money is power.
Remember,
and that's
asking, do you want money or power?
At. Yep.
He
you
got
want
us
both.
an extra half hour.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Where's the stop sign at, Doc?
Hey, well, here's the thing. They got so much. They got it under control, and that's
Yes.
It's pretty impressive that the president's. I wouldn't say he's turned it upside down. I just say he stirred it up a little bit.
He's definitely
He
stirred it up. And that's why it's so important for everybody to get out there and vote for Donald Trump's reelection. We need 4 more years of him. Jack Rock, what you were saying, we need the Trump dynasty to follow. You know, Mike Pence would make a great president. There's no question that the Trump family is
The Bush family had it for a while till Trump came along, and they would have had it the third term. But he shut Trump down. You remember that?
He shut Trump down. Bush did.
No. Donald Trump in the first speaking.
Jeb.
You remember 17 of them
Jeb
standing
Bush.
up there, and he told
Jeb Bush from
"Well,
Florida.
I had to bring my mommy
he
with
actually
me
did.
to the speaking. You
He did.
remember that?
I forgot about that, but he
I
did.
had to bring
He
my
shut him
mommy.
down.
Donald Trump.
He shut a
put
bunch
it.
of them down.
Hey, that was it for Jeff Trump. He was the third president.
He would have been.
supposed to
He
be.
would have been the third
Donald
Bush
Trump
president.
said, I left my mommy in the car. That was it, boy.
That was probably the most entertaining part, and because Trump was such an underdog. I mean, he was so far an underdog when it started, and he just kept knocking them off one by one, and he would take their support, you know, and he kept getting bigger and
You
bigger.
remember the
and it was
senator
more
from
entertaining.
Kentucky that had something smart to say to Trump during that thing, and Trump said, don't worry about it, ladies and gentlemen. He's had a bad hair day.
Wait a minute, you
He's
talking
got
about
curly
Cruz?
hair on top of his head.
No, not Cruz.
He's the senator from Kentucky. But he had
No, you're talking about Rand Paul.
I think
Rand Paul. And here you go. I'm going to throw a wild one at you. It's ironic you say that. Me and family were just in the mountains, the Highlands, and that area this earlier in the week, and we saw Rand Paul at the restaurant.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Did he
you
have
say
a
hello?
bad hair
Yes.
day?
Well, you know, it was the back of his head with the curls that was more identifiable. But my wife said, that's his wife. I recognize
You
her.
remember, since Dr. Scott don't remember this, do you remember the lady that was running, that was on the stage, and she had something smart to say, and Trump looked down there and said, ladies and gentlemen, please look. You know you wouldn't vote for something look like that.
No, we didn't.
He sure
Yeah,
did.
well, she was the.
That was the
she
end
was
of
from
her.
California.
She was a CEO of General Motors.
No,
maybe?
it was one of the tech companies.
High tech companies. Donald Trump.
I'll think about that one.
Every one of them that was on that stage, 17, if I'm not mistaken, counting him, he put it on each one of them. Childish stuff. Nobody else could get away with
Well,
that.
here's the thing. You got this huge, what do you call it, political correctness, and he really doesn't care.
He wiped
He doesn't
that
care,
out.
and that's
Thank you,
good.
Dr.
We
Scott.
should. That's one of the things they're trying to control is what we can say
That's
and
right.
can't say.
And you know,
that's dangerous.
That debate that's going on tonight is going. They've got this set up so they can mute Trump. Okay. They're trying to control him. And the girl who is hosting it, her first name's Kristen. She's on MSNBC. But she just did Christmas with the Obamas back in 2015 at the White House.
Do you
So
see
she's-
what he just did with 60 Minutes? So don't be surprised what
Never-
Trump might have up his sleeve.
I'll agree with that. Never
But
underestimate
the world
that man.
wants to see him look presidential
Yeah,
instead of all this gabby.
but that's
But
why
but
we
the
elected
problem-
him. We didn't want somebody
That's
presidential.
right.
So
But, yeah.
The
I just
problem
I
is
just
that-
don't understand what the big deal was there. What the big problem is with people speaking what they want to say.
No, the problem is the media doesn't want to show the respect to him. They want to see if they can rattle him. That's exactly what Leslie Stahl did with the 60 Minute episode.
Now, there's a lot of validity to that statement. They really tried to pick this fight first, and it's like he's a bear. You poke him, he's going to growl. So the more they poke, the more he growled. But he had more growl than they had poke.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
Let me, if you don't mind, Dr. Scott and Fulton, I know y'all won't mind me doing this, but let's change and go back to the medical thing a little. And since I'm here, I might not ever be here again. Let me share with you guys what my life is about medically. Zero. No medical. Hey, no medicine, no doctors. The only doctor that I have ever had any dealings with in my life is this cat over here. If I get down in my jogging or my working out, I go get what, Dr. Scott?
You go get juiced up with some vitamin
An
infusions.
IV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if I pull a muscle, do you want to feel? Hey, if I pull a muscle like I did a couple months ago and tore my shoulder, what do, Dr. Scott? Show up and get what?
You get the stem cells.
Stem cell put in there.
How's it working?
Hey,
It's amazing. Isn't
try
it?
me, cuz. Hey, come
you
on.
want a shot
try
at the
me.
title?
Hey,
you want to wear the belt?
You can bring the big camera. My daddy used to say Camry.
Jack's 73 years old. He'll run 2 or 3 miles right now.
I can tell.
Hey, and
I can
I'm
tell.
ready for any of y'all young guys.
Yeah.
Ask Dwyer.
Next time I need a bodyguard, you first in line.
This cat right here has got the print of my knuckles all over his body, son. Hey, and I'm proud of
still
it.
see him.
It's a trophy for me. So, Mr. Camry man, don't get no big ideas over there. All right? I'll give my little medical story, but I felt like really that we need to, because let me tell you something. I got a younger son that's a chiropractor also, and he's into cranes and crane schools and all this stuff. But he and Dwyer have always, and they influenced me into jogging and all this working out instead of me influencing them. So kids can have a big influence.
Absolutely.
On, just like this big Camry man that I'm looking at. I go around looking at human bodies, and I admire people that have got themselves in good shape. But a man, and I was always born a little small, skinny guy. And I can look at somebody like this young man over here, and what could he do with his height and the build that he's got? I see these bodybuilders all the time. Man, this cat could turn himself into something.
Hey, stop. You're making Jensen jealous. You're making him embarrassed now. He's getting, you see his faces already.
Well, I went on that subject a while ago. This is a learning process.
Here's what's
for
funny.
Everybody.
Jensen gets all the compliments. You know, here comes another compliment. Who was the lady in here complimenting his curly blonde hair? He gets all the compliments, not us. How are you, Rick? What's up? I mean, I guess that's the...
We just a bunch of old farts. They don't care about it. They won't take young bucks.
Hey, speak for yourself,
Dwyer's a
son.
lot younger than we are.
I was getting ready to say,
son.
Doc, you're a lot
I'm
younger
hanging
than we
with
are.
Jensen.
But what the point that I was getting to when I changed from our discussion about Trump and all, you can get so involved into this thing. Like this year at Thanksgiving, you're liable to have a whole lot of family fights over Dwyer's younger brother, Derek, can get so involved into this thing that you have to do like I just did you guys. See, I could see the fierceness in your eyes. You're ready to fight, son. Dr. Scott, he might claim that he's ignorant about the Supreme Court and about the general public and all, not knowing. But this cat's ready to fight about Trump anytime. But he's got a younger brother that I have to do like I did you two guys and jump over into another subject before he really blows his top. And really, what is it? It's nothing but a money thing, guys.
It's
Don't
all
be
about
getting
money.
upset. It's all in who. Now let's get spiritual. Can we get spiritual
Well, we can. I don't know about Rick Roberts over there.
Okay. We got
Hey!
all of us, his best friend told me, all of you guys' best friend told me that he's got it all in his hand. It ain't in nobody else's hand but his. Now, if you guys know what I know what he said. And you know what an atheist asked me on the job? Somebody that you know from Pittsburgh asked me, how do you know all this junk about a God and a Jesus is true? How do you know that's true? You out here preaching to us on the job. How do you know that's true? I said, I know it's true. He said, well, prove it. I said, I can prove it. He said, well, prove it. I said, well, will you answer a question if I ask you? He said, certainly I will. I said, well, answer this question. I said, who was the first president of the United States? He said, what is that got to do with what we're talking about? I said, answer the question. He said, George Washington. I said, how do you know?
How do you know?
Do you get it? How do you know? Because it's written.
Now let me tell you
How do we
this.
know Abraham Lincoln
Let me
really
stop
lived?
you now.
All right,
Let
go
me
ahead,
stop
Dr.
you
Scott.
now.
I need to be stopped.
Now that you're talking about God, check. Here's where we're at, especially with the whole COVID-19 and this new vaccine. They're going to try to talk you guys into taking. All right. I was talking to a great genius friend of mine who we're going to have on this show pretty soon. I've been begging him since we started.
Okay.
And a shout out to Mike Denny. All right. Now, here's the thing. He put it in a great perspective. How many, if you just had to guess, give me a percentage. What percentage of people are Democrats or believe what the Democrat Party says? What would you say? 50%?
50%.
Let's just say 50-50. You got 50 on the Democrat, then you got 50% of the American population believe in the Republicans. All right, so you got half and half, right? Out of those 100% of people, how many of those people now, this day and age, how many of those people would you say, Jack and Fulton, actually believe in the Bible or believe in God on any level? What percentage?
I can give it to you. It's written.
Just give me the percentage.
I will. Jesus said very few.
What percentage?
You know what?
What percentage,
I was going to
Fulton?
say 65.
Shit, dude, you in dreamland, son. 65% of people
That believe in the spirit.
that truly believe in God and some spirituality and doing.
Go ahead and say it, Jesus.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think, and we're talking global. We're talking about the whole world.
You think
and one of the religions that
65%?
puts
And not
God
only just believe,
at
but
the top.
they
Yes.
live toward that way. You think 65%? Okay,
I think
all
they
right.
try.
I say 15%.
Okay.
You say 65. Okay, I can
Yes.
still get to my point.
I mean, it's a.
Let me get to my point, Jack.
All right, Doc.
All right, you got 50% believing the Democrats. You got 50% that believe the Republicans. You got, let's just say, 20 to 60% of people that believe in God. Okay? You ready? This is what Mike Denny pointed out to me. Out of all the people in America, how many believe and trust in their medical doctors and the medical system? What percentage?
A lot.
What percentage, Jack?
In the United States, a lot.
What percentage?
80%.
I say 95%.
Okay.
And then you bring out this medical disaster or this health disaster, and guess what the American people are going to do? They're going to trust that medical system. And now we got a whole country now put in fear, forced to trust and trained to trust a medical system that's going to dictate their future and their life in the country and even the world. They've used a medical industry to control the population.
You know, there is a lot of validity to that statement, and I've never really quite looked at it with those
That's
aspects.
a pretty strong aspect.
But that's
of
a
way to think
very
about
strong way of presenting that argument, and I think it's valid. I think in a court of law, if I were on a jury, I would definitely agree with it.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. And that's what we're faced with. That's what we're seeing. That's what we live with every day.
And it's because people are desperate.
How tired are you of how many, let me ask you this. This is even better. How many times have you got out of the car and started in the store and get to the door and say, forgot my mask? Okay. How often do you change that mask? Everybody's dragging around that same dirty mask with everywhere they go and everything they do. Those masks are dirty.
And breathing in all that mess.
And breathing it in. So, it's going to ultimately have its effects on society, especially mentally.
Oh, you know what I wanted to
physically.
mention? You know what I wanted to mention? I heard on the news. I don't watch much news, but I caught a glimpse of it.
Okay.
Social distance, okay?
Yes.
Keep your social distance. Tell me if I'm right or wrong on this. I feel like I heard something in the media say, all right, you can't spend more than about 12 or 13 minutes with somebody. You a damn lie. Somebody heard it. Somebody had to hear it more than me. You had to limit the amount of time you're spending with people.
No, I hadn't heard that one yet, but it makes sense.
All right, I have some lucid and very vivid dreams. That was not a dream. That was a real deal. I thought for sure I saw somewhere that not only you're social distance, but now you have to limit the amount of time you're spending with people.
Well, you heard what Grouchy Fauci said.
No, what did Grouchy say?
Not to have Thanksgiving this year with your family.
Get out of here.
Yes.
That was my wife that suggested that to the federal government. Kill me.
But that one was so ridiculous that, people blew it off, just like everything Adam Schiff says. That's another one that is far from...
Shifty
Schiff.
Who's Adam Shifty?
He's the congressman from California who has sworn the whole
Democrat.
time. Yeah, that he had evidence that Trump colluded with the Russians and that he would be presenting it soon. He's just a hit job for MSNBC. That's all he is. Okay, and if he wasn't a congressman, he could be convicted for lying. I mean, he's out there spewing lies the whole way. It's nothing but hate.
Get you time, can't it?
What can?
Ugly
Can get you time.
Hey, he's sitting there with his eyes
bugged out.
Bad. Google eyes and never bat them.
That's drugs.
Well,
son.
I'm sorry, but they haven't came to arrest me yet, so I'm still waiting on that one.
Hey, I'm leaving.
I respect
proof.
that.
I'm leaving proof. Ugly hurts.
Ugly hurts.
It's to the bone.
Wait a minute. And beauty's only skin deep. That's right.
You know what scares me?
Only skin deep,
what scares me? We talk about everybody having to
Yes.
they're trusting in the medical system, and that's one thing that they stumped Donald Trump on. He's brilliant negotiator, understands business, understands bullshit, but when it comes to the medical industry, he doesn't get it, and therefore he can't really speak what he wants to speak, and if he